Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Corporate Finance online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Vanjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. So, dear students, in the few couple of classes, we discussed three cases of capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is the process of evaluating long-term investment projects. Okay. So I hope I shared news articles from the Times of India, like Tata Digital has invested 550 crore in a healthcare company CureFit. Then Bosch company has invested $1.2 billion in a new chip plant in Germany. Okay, so these companies invest in present. Okay, and these investments yield returns in future over a period of time. So before the company decides to invest, they estimate the cash inflows, in the future, and they convert them to their present value, and then they compare with the present level of investment. So if the difference is positive, so we call it a net present value. If it is positive, the company decides to invest in the project. As the net present value is positive, means there are benefits, there are returns, or there are profits, which can be shared as dividend among the equity shareholders. Okay, this way the wealth of the shareholders can be maximized. Okay, so in all the three cases, that is single proposal, replacement situation, and mutually exclusive proposals. Okay, we found out something called as the net present value, and we understood that if the net present value is positive, accept the project. If the net present value is negative, reject the project. In case of multiple projects, choose the project whichever has a higher net present value. For example, in mutually exclusive situation, we selected project Y over project X because project Y's net present value was higher than project X. So this net present value is nothing but one of the evaluation techniques. So I repeat again, what is capital budgeting? Capital budgeting is evaluation of long-term investment projects. So there are certain techniques. So one, we have already used it while understanding how to evaluate different categories of long-term investment projects. That is a net present value. So like that, there are different techniques that are used to evaluate long-term investment projects. So in this class, we are going to make a beginning to understand these different evaluation techniques. What to evaluate? Evaluating long-term investment projects. There are different techniques. So these are referred to as capital budgeting techniques or simply evaluation techniques. So today we are going to make a beginning to learn these different capital budgeting techniques or different evaluation techniques. So I hope this background is sufficient to understand what we are going to learn in today's class. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me regarding what we are going to learn today. So students, are you able to understand what are we going to learn today? Anyone can answer.
Yes, sir.
The background is clear, right? Okay. So now all the content what is there in PowerPoint slide. Okay, so I have brought here in the PDF file itself. The same points I have copied and pasted here simply from PowerPoint, so that I should not keep switching between PowerPoint, PDF, time value tables. So here we'll learn the theory part as well as we'll solve numerical problems to understand each technique. Okay. So the techniques that are used in evaluating capital projects. Capital means, remember, long term. The techniques that are used in evaluating capital projects or the techniques that are used in evaluating long-term investment projects are broadly classified into two categories: traditional techniques and time-adjusted techniques. Okay, there is one basic difference between these two techniques. Traditional techniques, doesn't take into account the concept of time value of money. Okay, in the beginning, okay, these techniques were used. Okay, but now once we learn that the value of money, okay, in future is lesser than the value of money in present. So we need to convert the future sum to present in order to make a fair comparison and decide whether to accept the project or reject the project. So later, time adjusted techniques became more popular. So though traditional techniques are not in use, okay, but from students' point of view, okay, it is there in the syllabus so that you can understand the basics. Okay, and time adjusted techniques make use of the concept of time value of money, where we convert the future value into future cash streams into their present value. Okay, hence they are also called as discounted cash flow techniques. It's not discount, I'm sorry, ed spelling is missing, ed. It time adjusted techniques, since they make use of time value of money concept, they are also called as a discounted cash flow technique. Okay, so among the traditional techniques, there is average rate of return. Okay, it is also called as accounting rate of return, and short form it is denoted by ARR, all capital. So you should remember these things. Remember, in examination, simply you may be asked to calculate the ARR or PBP, for example, or NPV, IRR, PI. Okay, so being financial management students, you should be able to remember. So ARR is accounting rate of return or average rate of return. Okay, can be used to evaluate capital projects or a payback period. Okay, so PBP. Okay, or if here there is a provision to add the concept of time value of money. So when we insert the time value of money concept to payback period, it actually becomes time adjusted, but we learn it here only, called as a discounted payback period. Okay. Then among time adjusted techniques are discounted cash flow techniques. So we will learn net present value. In fact, you have already learned it, but anyway, we'll learn it once again. Then second, internal rate of return. Okay. Okay, so modified internal rate of return, okay, is not in syllabus, so just let us not bother about this much. Then third is the profitability index. So these are the different techniques that are used to evaluate long-term investment projects. Okay, so now we are going to consider small numerical problems to understand how these techniques are used to evaluate long-term investment projects. Excuse me. So remember, the company will make an investment in present. Okay, because of that investment, the company is going to earn returns over a period of time in future, after year 1, after year 2, after year 3, after year 4, after year 5, after year 10, and so like that. Okay, but since we know that the value of the earnings, okay, which the company is going to receive in future, okay, its value is lesser than present. So we convert the future cash streams into their present value so that they become comparable with the present level of investment. Okay, this is the basic concept. Maybe more than 10 times I have repeated. So you should never forget. Otherwise, you will never understand what exactly is capital budgeting or what are investment decisions and how they are evaluated. So let's begin with the traditional techniques first. Okay. Those who do not consider the concept of time value of money. The first one is average rate of return or accounting rate of return, and denoted by ARR, capital, all capital ARR. So I'll consider accounting rate of return. I'll use any one. Accounting rate of return can be determined by simply dividing, okay, by simply dividing, 1 minute. Yeah. So accounting rate of return can be obtained by simply dividing average annual profits after taxes by average investment over life of the project multiplied by 100. Okay, so I repeat, average rate of return, accounting rate of return can be obtained by dividing average annual profits after taxes by average investment over life of the project multiplied by 100. Now let us understand average annual profits or simply average profit. How to find out average profit? Average profit after taxes, okay, are determined by adding up. Okay, so how we are going to obtain average annual profits? By adding up after tax profits expected for each year of the project's life and dividing the result by number of years. Okay, so there are 5 years cash streams are given to you, A plus B. Okay, you have to add all of them and divide it by 5. Okay, so average profit is determined by adding up the after tax profits expected for each year of the project and dividing it, okay, by number of years. You will get average annual profit or average profit. And it is when the estimated cash streams are different in each year. But what about annuity? If the investment is going to produce equal annual stream of cash flows every year, 10 lakh rupees, for example, for 5 years. So it is a case of annuity. So in that case, the average tax profits are equal to any year's profit. Okay, any year's profit. So it is the annuity amount itself is the average profit. Okay, because even if we divide, let us say 10 lakh plus 10 lakh for 5 years, it is 50 lakh divided by 5. So 50 lakh divided by 5 is equal to 10 lakh rupee again. So in case of annuity, the average after tax profits are equal to any year's profits. That is the annuity amount itself is the average annual profit. Okay, now how to find out the average investment over life of project? Okay, so average investment, okay, can be obtained like this: net working capital. Okay, that is actually additional working capital required, if any, plus salvage value of the machine plus half of initial cost of machine, that is the price of the machine, minus salvage value. So you are going to get the average investment. Okay, you are going to get the average investment. Okay, so simply you divide both and multiply that by 100. So what you get is accounting rate of return, ARR. Then once you find out ARR, see, you get the answer. See, usually in UG level, what happens? Okay, sir, answer is correct. Sir says answer is correct. Excellent, very good. Dear students, here we are going to make a decision based on the answer. Okay, we are going to make a decision based on the answer. Arriving at the correct answer is not sufficient. So how to make that decision, whether to invest or not to invest? Okay, so remember, there are accept reject rule. Accept the project or reject the project in case of accounting rate of return. So how we are going to decide whether to accept the project or reject the project? Compare actual accounting rate of return. Okay, actual means the calculated one. Okay, so actual means calculated one. So there is an example which I am going to consider. So the actual rate of return in this case is 24.9%. So compare the actual rate of return with a predetermined or a minimum rate of return or cutoff rate. This will be given in the problem. This will be given in the problem. So the predetermined rate or minimum required rate of return or cutoff rate will be given in the problem. So you have to compare. Okay, if the actual accounting rate of return is greater than the minimum required rate of return, accept the project. So here it is. Except if the actual accounting rate of return is greater than the minimum required rate of return. If the actual calculated accounting rate of return is lesser than the minimum required rate of return, reject the project. Simple. So if there are more than one project, 2 projects, 3 projects, for example, then ranking methods can be used in case of alternative proposals. They say if there are 2 projects, which project to accept the project with highest accounting rate of return. Okay, this also you have to write after the answer. Remember this, otherwise your answer will be incomplete. Not only answer, your learning also will be incomplete. Okay, so now before I go ahead with a small problem, not exactly small anyway. So you please ask if you have any doubts. Anybody who is not able to understand the concept. Accounting rate of return, ARR. Anybody who has any doubt? So is that okay? Shall I go ahead with computation of accounting rate of return?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, see now the importance of this example number, okay, 9.6, and which I have already shared, okay. This PDF file I have already shared with you. Information from this example is taken throughout learning all the techniques. Information given in this example 9.6 is taken in calculating different in considering or learning different evaluation techniques. So you should not forget, for example, cost of machine or price of machine is 56,125 rupees. Cost or price of machine B is 56,125 rupees. You should not forget. If any additional information is given, new information is given, it will be there in the respective techniques. Otherwise, the data will be taken from this only. And in couple of examples, say they have given different cash flows after taxes. Okay, different cash flows after taxes, but other details remain same. Like two machines are there, like machine A and machine B. Cost of machine A is 56,125. Cost of machine B is also 56,125, as well as, okay, so the salvage value of machine A is 3,000. Salvage value of machine B is also 3,000. Life of the machine is 5 years. Okay, so you should keep track. You should not forget about the information from this example 9.6. All of a sudden you shouldn't ask, sir, from where this 56,125 came. And I'll remind you, dear student, it came from example 9.6, which I already took 5 minutes to explain, so that you should not get confused. Okay, see, I have seen students, okay, once some amount is written, they become blank, they go blank. They don't understand from where this amount came. Okay, so everything I keep explaining. Okay, but still, you also have some responsibility of reading repeatedly, practicing the practice problems, so it will become easy for you to understand. Okay, so in example 9.6, it is given that determine the average rate of return or accounting rate of return from the following data of two machines, machine A and machine B. So determine the average rate of return or accounting rate of return from the following data of two machines, machine A and machine B. So this column we have particulars. Okay, figures for machine A and machine B in second and third column. So cost of machine A 56,125. Machine B is also 56,125. Annual estimated income after depreciation and tax. So here the cash streams are given readily. Like in case of different categories of projects where we estimated the annual cash flows after taxes, after reducing depreciation, adding back the depreciation, it's all readily given here. So we're saved from that, because here the objective is to learning how to use the techniques and make a decision to accept or reject the project. So the annual estimated income after depreciation and income tax for machine A, year 1 3,375, year 2 5,375, year 3 7,375 rupees, year 4 9,375 rupees, year 5 11,375 rupees. Okay, and this is the total of 5 years annual estimated net cash inflows, 36,875 rupees. Estimated life of the machine is 5 years, and machine A has a salvage value of 3,000 rupees. Okay, so now let us see the information about machine B. Cost of machine B is also 56,125 rupees, but the estimated cash streams are different, but the total is same. Okay. Year 1 it is 11,375 rupees. Year 2 9,375 rupees. Year 3 7,375 rupees. Year 4 5,375 rupees. Year 5 3,375 rupees. Okay, and the total of all the 5 years, okay, cash streams are same 36,875 rupees. Estimated life of machine B is also 5 years. Salvage value of machine B is also 3,000. Okay. So though they have mentioned depreciation has been charged on the straight line basis, but we need not calculate it because these cash streams are after deducting depreciation and after deducting income tax. Okay. So now once we have the data on hand, so let us go ahead with solution. See, these are simple solutions like 8th, 9th, 10th you might have learned. Okay, but the concepts are very important and decision making is very important. Okay, so calculations are simple. Okay, those are done very well in 8th, 9th and 10th standard mathematics. So accounting rate of return or average rate of return, ARR, is equal to average income divided by average investment multiplied by 100. Average income is nothing but annual average profit. Okay, average income of machine A and B. Okay, since the total of their cash streams, remember, how are we going to find out? Cash inflow year 1 plus cash inflow year 2 plus cash inflow year 3 plus cash inflow year 4 plus cash inflow year 5 divided by life of the project 5. Okay, if you do it separately also, okay, but already the total is given in the numerical 36,875. 36,875. Okay, is the total of cash stream in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 and year 5. The total is 36,875. And for machine B also the total is same. You need to divide it by number of years, life of project, which is also same 5 years. So it is calculated together. Those who are slow like me, actually, you can calculate for some machine A separately and machine B separately. Okay, actually I would recommend that. Okay, but here to save time, average income of machine A and B is calculated together because it is same. 36,875 divided by 5 is equal to 7,375 rupees is the annual average profit or average income for machine A as well as for machine B. Next, we are going to find out the average investment. Okay, average investment. So average investment also for both machines we are going to find out because it is same. Formula was salvage value. Salvage value of both the machines is same, as you can see here. Salvage value of machine A is 3,000 as well as machine B is 3,000. So if you find it for one, it is the same for others also. Excuse me. So salvage value 3,000 plus, okay. So there is no information on additional working capital required. So that doesn't come into picture in this problem. Plus half of cost of machine minus salvage value. So cost of machine A is also 56,125. Okay. As you can recall, cost of machine A is also 56,125 and cost of machine B is also 56,125. So we are finding the average investment, okay, once at all. So cost of machine 56,125 minus salvage value of both machines is also same, 3,000 rupee each. So once you simplify this, 3,000 plus half of 56,125 minus 3,000 is equal to 29,562.50 rupees. 29,562 rupee 50 paise is the average investment. So dear students, when the classes were regular, I made it compulsory for students to purchase calculators. Mobile phones were not allowed in classroom. And also in semester end examination and during IA tests, 100% students would require calculators. Okay, and mobile phones were not allowed inside the examination halls, as you know. So all the 60 students purchased, okay, calculators. Remember, simple calculators are enough. Now it is up to you what you are going to do. Remember, those who, if examinations are conducted, I said, okay, they will be online. Oh, sorry, they will be offline in the college, in the examination hall. Now look at the number of cases. From 40,000 2 months ago, they are reduced to 10,000, less than 10,000 per 24 hours. So looking at this trend, colleges are going to reopen. Even the state government is considering to reopen schools. Remember, huh? Those who are negligent, ignorant, I am warning them. Okay, don't take the subject serious. Okay, easy. Okay, so you think of having a calculator, bringing it from your home once the college reopens. Remember to bring calculator from your home if you have the calculator. And those who do not have calculator at home, please remember to purchase one. Okay, please remember to purchase one calculator. And those students who will enter the examination hall without calculator will fail. Okay, I will assure you that. I will assure you that. Remember this. Okay, and time value tables are all will be given in the examination hall. Time value tables will be given. Huh? But for remaining all purpose, without calculator, you cannot solve. As I said, total out of 140 marks, 100 marks numericals will be there. Huh? Remember this. Okay, so the average investment of machine A as well as of machine B is 29,562 rupee 55 cents. Simply we'll fill these values in the equation. So accounting rate of return for machines A and B we can calculate because it is same. So average income is 7,375 rupees, where we calculated here, divided by average investment is 29,562 rupees 55 cents. We calculated it here. Okay, into 100. Into 100 will give you 24.9% is the actual ARR. Okay, actual accounting rate of return or actual average rate of return is 24.9%. See, now to simplify this, you will require calculator. Manually, it is extremely difficult, time consuming, and the scope for error is very high. Okay, remember, I'm reminding, I never said I will warn, but I'm warning those negligent and ignorant students who do not carry calculators in the examination hall. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋರ ಕೈಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕುಂದಿರ್ತೀರಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಒಳಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಮನೆಯೊಳಗಿದ್ರ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆನ ಈ ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮನೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಂದ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾವ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಲಿ ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ದ accept reject rule. Okay, though here it is not typed, the decision is not typed, but I am going to make the decision. I will give you the decision making role to you. See, what is the accept reject rule? Accept reject means accept the project or reject the project. Or here there are two machines, machine A and machine B. Which machine the company should invest or which machine the company should purchase, machine A or machine B? Okay, so now the accept reject rule says compare the actual ARR with a predetermined or minimum required rate of return. It is not given in the problem. So minimum required rate of return is not given in the problem. Okay, and there is another one. Ranking methods can be used in case of alternative projects. Yes, this is the case of alternative project. Company can either purchase the machine A or machine B. Now the rule says accept the project with the highest ARR. Now ARR, accounting rate of return of machine A is 24.9%, and also ARR of machine B is also 24.9%. Correct? So one simple decision you can write. Please remember, please remember, and when you write this problem in your notebook, fair notebook, remember to write this decision which I am orally telling. Okay, it is indifferent. It is indifferent whether the company decides to invest in machine A or in machine B, since ARR of both machines is same. This is how you should write one decision. So in the end you write decision. It is indifferent whether the company decides to invest in machine A or machine B, since the ARR of machine A and machine B is same. This is how you are going to write the decision. Okay, so far any doubts? Any doubts so far? Anybody who is not able to understand any part of it? So is that okay? So far so good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let
Yes,
me
sir.
see. Any student who will answer this question, I will give a treat when the college reopens. But first come first serve basis, and answer should be correct. Though I said decision, it is indifferent whether the company decides to purchase machine A or machine B, since okay, the ARR of both the machines is same, okay, which is 24.9%. But based on the information given in the problem, can you still make a decision whether the company should purchase machine A or machine B? You can make a decision actually. Yes. Who will give the answer? Properly explained, but college bakery opens, okay, restaurant, I'll give a small treat. Anybody who will answer? This is how you should learn finance. Remember, decision making you have to learn here. Still, yes, actually you can suggest the company which machine to purchase based on the information given in the problem. Yes. And which I have already discussed, explained in detail in chapter 1. That is why I am asking here. It's not out of blue. Is anybody who would like to give it a try? Which machine is, that is not important. You can say, sir, purchase machine A or purchase machine B. You have to explain why. Still, we can make a decision. If you are really finance students, you are planning to take finance, apply your mind. And which is again based on which I have already taught you, explained you, discussed with you.
So the machine which gives more income, sir.
Array, the total is same, no? 36,875. The income from both the machines is same. But yeah, Ganesh, thank you. You made an attempt. But it is something related to that only, based on which you can make a decision. Actually, you can suggest the company. Okay.
Machine A, sir.
Why?
Annual income is more.
Why? Where annual income is more? Each year the amounts are different. And the total of all the 5 years income is same, 36,875. But good, Anushri, you also made an attempt. Okay, but it is related to same what Ganesh and Anushri are speaking. Okay, now only 5 minutes are remaining. Okay, so look at machine A. CFAT means cash flows after taxes. Year 1, 3,375. Year 2, 5,375. Year 3, 7,375. Year 4, 9,375. Year 5, 11,375. Whereas CFAT, cash flows after taxes for machine B are year 1, 11,375. Year 2, 9,375. Year 3, 7,375. Okay. So for machine B, initial years, okay, the returns are higher. For machine B, the returns are higher in the initial years, like year 1, 11,375. Year 2, 9,375. Year 3, 7,375. Whereas for machine A, in the initial years, the earnings are lower. Year 1, 3,375. Year 2, 5,375. Now, can you explain anybody? Coffee only now.
Sir, machine B should be chosen.
Very good. So Keshav qualifies for coffee now. Explain why.
Sir, initial incomes are more, sir. Yearly incomes. So the yearly incomes can be again invested, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Everybody, please give him a big round of applause without hesitation. Okay. Very good. See, this is what I call learning. Okay, I want my students to learn this way. Okay, see, company will not keep this money with them in a locker. Dear students, please try to understand. Whatever is earned in year one is reinvested. So if I consider 10% interest simply. So year one, if the company decides to invest in machine B, year one returns are or cash flows after taxes are 11,375. So 10% of this is 1,113 rupees. 1,113 rupees. Are able to understand? And if company decides to invest in machine A, same rate of 10% interest. Okay, imagine. Okay, 330 rupees. Okay, is only return on year one. So that differences, and if it is compounding, so 11,375 plus whatever interest earned. Okay, plus 9,375, 10% interest on that. Here it is 3,375 plus 10% interest plus 5,375. Company will earn interest only on that. So actually, the returns are greater for machine B compared to machine A because in the initial year the returns are higher for machine A, and these returns can be reinvested, okay, by the company. And when the company reinvests these cash flows after taxes, the returns from that reinvestment are greater in case of machine B compared to machine A. So you can apply your mind further and still you write. Okay, you can write this decision. Okay, so any questions here? Any questions? Accounting rate of return. So congratulations, Keshav, okay, for coffee at Fresh and Honest coffee shop. Okay. Yeah. We'll move on to next. Okay. Payback period. I will explain what is payback period first, since still I have time. Then I had to rejoin back the class. So after attendance, I'll solve one problem. Okay. On payback period, time is available. So second, traditional technique which doesn't take into account the concept of time value of money is payback period. So payback period is the exact amount of time required for a firm to recover its initial investment in a project. Okay, which is calculated from cash inflows. Okay, so if you invest say 10 lakh rupees in present, how many years it would take for you to recover the investment of 10 lakh rupees, which is estimated from the estimated cash inflows. So that many number of years is called as payback period. Say for example, you invest, okay, 10 lakh rupees in a project, okay, and you are going to recover your investment in 5th year. So payback period of the investment is, or project is 5 years. Okay, so I think the meeting is going to end. Please join back the next meeting immediately. Please do not delay.